Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Ceice here, and today I'm bringing you guys a brand new video. If you guys can't already tell, I'm on a little bit of a scuffed and a different setup. Right now I'm using a headset mic. That is basically because I'm having some PC issues right now, so I'm gonna get that fixed. But for now, we're gonna have to roll with this. So in today's video, I go over JAHQ, ACORN, and Slax's trio FNCS victory this last weekend. They're an exceptional trio, and a lot can be learned by watching them. So I hope you guys enjoy. And if you do, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. It really helps out. And yeah, we're not stopping, baby. Let's go. All right, so I mean, yeah, it's basic circuit looting. I don't know if they're gonna go key the dam here, but it looks like they might be on the way to either break the surf truck or try their best to get some type of tags, or maybe even kill the team with their RPG. So we'll see here. Looks like we've got a duo alive. Not sure who, but either way, they're gonna try to clean them up because this is super free for them. They're able to literally car up right away, get max shield when these teams have nothing and are super shambles. And this is the strat that they've been doing all season. They've been doing it in cash cups ever since the RPG got added here, and players made this a high point of interest. It allows for an easy cleanup. Like, every advantage is theirs, especially that they have cars. It makes it super easy. All right, here, I mean, they just got it gifted. Literally, this team only a duo. I believe this is Zate in them. I'm not sure. Only a duo because, I mean, there's no reboot here, and the way the kills work is you end up trading. It's a 50-50. So here they literally rolled up, stole the RPG, got the max rockets, got everything they needed, and literally, I mean, it looks like they were trying to hunt him down, but they probably just went right back to Slurpee to loot up. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and skip forward here into the mid game. To see how they play that, because as of right now they have no Storm Surge, so I mean, they're pretty stacked. They have a lot of shield, and I think they even bought shield off of the player here, one of the bots. So that is that is busted. So yeah, let's go ahead and skip forward here and see how they do in the mid game. So they take advantage of crystals. Looks like they literally grab a crystal over here, right where they parked their car, because the rescue team was just looking at them, and they used it to get a free rotate to the next set of crystals. So I've talked about this a little bit, but it's basically just map awareness, and this goes for any season that items like this are in the game. If you know what can take you to where based off of the distance in between them, so they probably knew that this crystal right here could easily take them to here in just one crystal. So stuff like that, super simple stuff, but it takes you a long way. It looks like they take this hill, and they know they need Storm Surge because they come from such a far POI, so they play aggressive on this team. And the good thing about this, I would say, is because they have the RPG, a lot of teams are going to be looking at them, which allows for a bunch of counter snipes back, which teams are hardly ever expecting. Booga's team on the bridge is going to be opening at them. You know, Zate Hill is going to be looking at them. Risky's going to be looking at them. A lot of the teams are going to be looking at them, and I'm pretty sure they have double sniper. Yeah, they do. So JAHQ and Slax are both running sniper, while Acorn's running RPG with harpoon. But because of that, they're probably able to get some surge on teams shooting at them from distance. So as of right now, I don't think they have any surge at all. I guess we'll see here in a little bit, but they probably have a couple tags actually. Let's see. Yeah, they are 127 below. I mean, this is going to be interesting to see how they pull this off, because they are in a pretty high spot. Everyone knows they have RPG. This team below them is probably pretty decent on surge, considering that they've been here the whole time. This team is 159 above, so this team has nothing really to worry about other than just waiting for this team to pressure them and take the free tags from it. I think the most logical conclusion here for them, and they probably know this, is they're going to have to fight the team below them. So right now, I believe they're probably looking for an opportunity to start pressuring them. Whether that's like RPGing a wall and trying to grab it, I mean, we'll see here what they do exactly, but I'm sure the RPG does come into play. Yeah, so they did exactly that. Yeah, Acorn shoots the rocket at the wall. Very simple. He shoots the rocket while Slax jumps down trying to grab the wall. Yeah, you'll see here in play from a different angle, but I mean, it's pretty basic strategy with an RPG. It breaks builds like brick pretty easily. So yeah, he drops down, tries to get a box on the opponent. He ends up getting the wall and almost goes for a trade shot there, which would have been pretty good for Surge. But they do have to play aggressive on this because it is 30 seconds till Storm Surge starts ticking. So as soon as the replay system starts ticking, yeah, now you see they're getting into a full-on box fight. A lot of other teams do this. Is a very common thing, but they're now aggressing this team, and this team knows that they need Storm Surge, so they're gonna probably expand space here. work their way back, which they do. They make more territory, they claim walls, make it metal, probably put pieces down, but I don't know what happens. I guess they just got in. The one thing to note there is they did double take the wall, so ACORN was force holding his charge out, making it so that way if they did make an edit play on him, he would get a shot off no matter what. Notice that it is the charge player doing it, not attack. You can do it with any gun, but it is obviously better to do it with a charge because it punishes them even more. That, and then you have Slacks taking the wall. I'm not sure if Slacks is low ping, but obviously you'd want to have the low ping to take the wall. But they get the knock on this guy, and they get the snipe on the body, and that is just enough surge for the game right then and there. But they know this team is obviously pretty bad, probably by seeing the name that they just killed. So they're going to go ahead and aggress for this next guy, and they just get in. So I'm sure they end up wiping this whole trio, or in some way getting their surge off this trio. This team is entirely just getting pushed out of their boxes. So they resort to a car, which probably gets them killed. Wow. I mean, let's see how aggressive they really play on this. So they decide to hop in their own taxi and chase after this team because, like I said, Surge is 90% of the reason why you do so well in Grand Finals. If they get these 2 kills, they don't have to worry about Surge for the entire game, while everyone else who didn't get these kills or who didn't get a good amount of Surge earlier in the game is going to be stressing about moving zone Surge, like X and B's trio that's been sitting on this hill, or these guys that's been sitting down here. Rivers that's been kind of just working their way through the game, taking AR tags. The easiest way to get Surge is obviously by getting these eliminations. So I mean, you'll see these guys probably he just jumped right in, and the servers are so laggy that Silverback can't really do anything. So, and then you've got ACORN and Slacks just straight demolishing that guy. All right, so yeah, they're 23 seconds till Surge pops. And they're 557 above. Meanwhile, this team nearby them is 44 below and probably has to make a play on them when they're already in shambles. This team has 4 minis, 3 minis, and 0, as well as all of them being 150 HP or less. So, I mean, as you can tell, it's a pretty easy matchup for the trio of JAHQ, ACORN, and Slacks. It's going to be a pretty quick wipe. So, you'll see them here in about 3 seconds here. They're going to start making a play, or else they're going to start dying to Storm Surge. So, they actually get pushed by another team. Also needed Surge. He has a box. That is a free kill. And more Surge for the entire game. Yeah, so they got that. They're playing slow, getting a refresh. And at this point in the game, they already have 5 kills. Before half even starts, they have 5 eliminations. So that's huge. It looks like the team that needed Storm Surge ended up getting killed by this team, I'm assuming. Or I don't know where they went. But either way, JAHQ, ACORN, and Slacks are now like 700 above. There's no more Storm Surge. And if there is, they are going to be high above for the rest of the game. So this is a pretty interesting play here. Pretty interesting play. I mean, we'll watch this back, but let's see. So they just got a refresh. They're all almost max mats. One of them is missing like 20 builds. And looks like they might do the Nate Hill Classic here. Just ramp at Booga and clicks. Awareness check. Bizzle, the timing is just not right. I mean, Bizzle and them really had it in their hands to hold this game. Definitely made a big mistake there, but at the same time, they didn't aggress for the height too much. They didn't just full send it, as you guys can tell. I mean, they know they have the RPG. They don't have to necessarily push for it completely. But we'll see what they do here. So right now they're on an elevated layer with an RPG, which basically allows them to play back of storm and just shoot rockets at height. Alright, so high ground gets pretty established here. They're already on a pre-tarp, as well as probably putting pressure on them since they saw they were aggressing. So ACORN goes ahead and he quickly bounces off to get an early claim of the zone. And he knows that's going up a hill here. He obviously pre-checked the zone. He saw that's going to climb this hill. So he's already preparing for that, and he's ramping up. Now, an easy thing for them to do here, same with Zypha's team, is to just look up at height, and they would have had it free here. Because this team does have to bouncer off. I think pretty common strat now that they can just crank up for height while the other team is bouncing off. They know it has to happen. Unfortunately for them, Booga and Bizzle get an off angle while ACORN's kind of going up, so, or while Clicks is cranking on top of them with peppers. So definitely an unfortunate like pinch here, but they had the right play in mind. I mean, they had the RPG and they got frontside zone, so it definitely makes sense for them to want to try to take it. Slacks ends up getting high ground here. I don't know if this is the breaking point for them, but I'm assuming that Clicks and Bizzle are still going to try to aggress for it, even though Bizzle and Booga are cracked. So we'll see here. They had a big build fight, and looks like they ended up giving it up. Yeah, they gave it up. 2X and them are now in a position to take high ground. Oh, never mind. Yeah, they're getting beamed. Okay, so yeah, they gave it up. I'm assuming because they really had a low amount of materials. As you can see here, yeah, they have less than 20 builds each. And they get a quick refresh on Ceice here, called out, as well as Clicks just running into the box. Wow. So 2 free refreshes gives them 2 Ceice mats at minimum. But I'm assuming they have a lot more than that. So we'll go ahead and see. JAHQ has 7 builds, ACORN has 28, and Slacks has 23. So they got around 500 builds total. And they still have the RPG in play. So they are in a shambles position, to be fair. But they're going to make the most of it. So they probably end up bouncing here to the front. And they end up just looking at height. I mean, this is a super common thing in grand finals. It's just height is just always a grief fest, especially in this last FNCS for NA East. There was a lot of height teams. A lot of teams really wanted that high ground. So it's definitely more free to take it in these later zones, and that's honestly always been ACORN and JAHQ and Slacks' strat, is to always just take it in like second and third moving. I've never really seen them been a team to grief for height and half as much as like Ceice and Bizzle's trio does, but definitely a trio to just take it in like third moving zone, which is exactly what they did. So let's see what ACORN does here. So ACORN, while his lead tarper, or while Slacks is tarping into zone here, ACORN takes a peek at height, sees that they're on nothing, and it gives them another shot to go for high ground. Even though they are shambles mats, even though they're not necessarily 5-5-5, they still take advantage of it because they have the pressure item like an RPG, and they have the ammo from all the refreshes that they've gotten this whole game. And it is a win condition. It is a win condition. And this meta, height is not as griefable as it was in the past seasons with shockwaves and all that stuff. So I mean, it looks like they just ran height. He gets a pretty good sneak on 2Xe and gets him killed the storm, I believe. Oh, kills him out the sky. That was a sketchy bouncer because now he's on a weird layer. Almost doesn't make it out. Has 1 build. Wow, that was lucky. That was so fortunate. Wow. He has 0 builds at this point, and he has the RPG. If he goes down right there, it's definitely a game win for Macwood and Bucky. I mean, Macwood, Bucky, and Kanata, I don't want to talk about too many other trios, but I just want to say that they are very similar to how ACORN and them take it. I mean, like you can see here, they're playing for the height to be free. But now they have an RPG height or RPG team above them, and they're pretty much forced to drop down at this point. So even though JAHQ, ACORN, and Slacks have nothing materials-wise, literally 0 materials, they have that RPG and they have over 1,000 ammunition. Just spray down into the second height team and ride out their builds. And that's exactly what they do. They literally spray at the team. I believe the zone pulls back here. It does. They also get a refresh on X and B here. I'm not sure if they get the materials from that, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, they have an RPG with 5 rockets as well as that harpoon. So it's just game over for anyone that's below them. No one's going to be able to go up. When you know that RPG is on height, it's just fast. So I mean, it's very interesting to see that JAHQ and ACORN didn't send height necessarily. I think a lot of other teams would have done that into half and half or into first moving, showing that they have the RPG, and they probably would have gotten it for free, but they went with the absolute safest route of just playing it out, taking it when they could, and still having Clicks in them fight them out for it, and they ended up not being able to get it then. But because they did grief it, they ended up finding a pretty fortunate refresh on Zypha, and it allowed them to re-go for it again. Because they have that RPG, they're able to do that and be successful with it. They still have 0 materials, and they still win this game. So this is going to be crazy because there's 4 teams left, 9 players alive. I mean, the RPG is just putting in so much pressure. They're also, well, they get a refresh there on commandment, so they get 50 of each mat. So they have enough mats to build up to connect to the next zone, which pulls up a hill here. And with the rocket, 5 rockets and a harpoon, double harpoon, yeah, they're able to put up so much pressure. And it looks like it takes them all the way. Put so much pressure that no one can really contest. And then before you know it, it's a full trio of Creo, Avery, and Illis on low ground with absolutely nothing. And they pull out a 15 kill win in grand finals. Wow. I mean, just that there, it honestly just came down to them not griefing themselves too early on, not showing that they had the RPG too early on, and being patient and still knowing that they have that pressure item to go for high ground. Like I said, they like to look for high ground a lot, and so it's pretty common that they're going to do something like this if they get that RPG in their hands especially. But that is a crazy win with 2 points per kill in a grand finals format, and the victory, the win. It just makes it that much of a crazy game. I mean, they started this game, they ended at around 97 points, and they went into the game. So yeah, here if we go to the start of this game, they started at 46 points, and so ending at around 96 points. Pretty much doubled their points, or almost doubled their points. Wow, that is insane. All right, so this is the last game of the grand finals, and if you guys did not check up the leaderboards during the grand finals, the top 4 teams were within 10 points of each other or less going into this last game. So this is a very, very, very close game for everybody. I think you guys can see here, yeah, you've got Bizzle at 131, Sintit's Trio at 151, and this is just for day 2, so they still got to count for the other day, but all these teams are at super, super high points. Very, very, very close. It all comes down to this last game, basically, and we're going to see exactly in how they played this out and what really did so well for them. So ACORN obviously getting the best drop for the chimney there, and if he does get an AR, he's able to get probably over 100 tags off of the guys gliding past him. Really not much look at off spawn here. I think they do know that this team is contesting them or making them do a weird split. Avi and them looking like they have very weird split, but yeah, I mean, it looks like they probably lose this game. They're probably going to play super, super safe. Even though they're an aggressive trio, they know that they need this last game. Like, this is a make or break. This is the reason why they won FNCS. So not really much to look at off spawn here, but yeah, just to stress the importance of this game. This is a huge, huge game for them. They're 200 above, it looks like. So they know they need more surge going into this, and they see this team behind them getting held. So they're going to also try to hold them, putting as much pressure as they can here. We'll go to JAHQ, Slack's perspective. They're literally just piecing them completely, putting cones in, spraying them as much as they possibly can, getting all that surge. They're only 64 above, so they need this. Just like we watched in the last game, this is going to be a very similar situation. Never mind, they're 200 above. But this is going to be a very similar situation where they get this surge, they get this elimination here, and it carries them throughout the whole game. So not only did they get the refresh and got all their mats back that they spent, but they have surge now for the rest of the game. So they do the snipe trick, carry them on the back, pretty simple. Get as much surge as you possibly can get. They're 250 above. They snipe him, and now they're 500 above. So if you guys didn't know about that, pretty basic, but you just carry the knocked body and snipe him in the head because he can't move. And yeah, that's their surge. Now they are hard chilling on surge. They don't have to worry about it at all. And they pulled zone. So not only did they get a refresh, they got maximum surge, and they pulled zone in the last game. The game they needed all, they got it. They hear this team bounce around and get cracked, which I believe was probably me or Uzi. I know this because I was playing with them, but we peppered up and we bounced it off. But I'm just curious on how they're able to see this from JAHQ's perspective. So we bounce her off to go into zone here. Uzi gets hit for 53, and he ends up stopping on their wall, which, yeah, gets him killed. That just gave him a whole another refresh. Uzi with a pepper and 400 mats, giving them a pretty crazy refresh when they're already in the zone here, and another elimination. That's a plus 2 points. And on top of JAHQ's already carrying peppers because of the last refresh they got. So now they have 9 peppers, which gives them an extra rotate. And I mean, they have it all. They have everything they need to do to win this game. So they use the extra mats, they tarp it in, and they're still not great mats. ACORN probably has the max mats. Yeah, they're pretty stacked. I mean, their heals, as you guys can tell, they have 2 medkits and almost 12 splashes, as well as those peppers to rotate through any zone and even to grab high ground with it, which, like I said, is a super common thing for this trio to try to make plays for high ground. So they pop the pepper. They decide to get ahead here, and it's kind of the same idea that they had in the game where they had the RPG. They were able to get ahead of zone and use their pepper to crank for high ground because they know that no one can really put up anything against a team when you have a Pepper. They saw that firsthand when they built fought Clicks in the 15 elimination game that they had. But yeah, you can't really do anything against a team that has Peppers. You kind of have to give it up, and looks like they either have it here or they decide to give it up. I'm not sure reasoning why. But yeah, interesting play that they decided to give it up here when they do have the zone pull. Very interesting. This team, wow, they had it for free, man. That is super weird that they just didn't see that. They gave this team the chance to have high ground, but that's crazy. Either way, they bounce her in on Peppers again, and they probably try to do something very similar. They probably tarp ahead here with their Peppers, and maybe look for a chance to take high ground again. So wow, yeah, they know it's a game-winning situation where they need this victory, they need this game. Super important for them. They already have all these heals, so they're not really burning anything. As you guys can see, JAHQ still has 6 minis and 6 splashes, so they have not really burned much in their inventory use for shields. I mean, he burned a little bit of his minis in his big pop, but they still have those Peppers to go again, keeping that pressure on high ground and keeping that threat that this height team, or the second height team, is still going to be doing something. JAHQ takes a glance at high ground here, same with Slacks. And I believe they probably just pepper for it. It looks like this high ground team ended up losing a player, which makes it even... Oh no, they still have him. But like I said, they're going to be a team that's just going to keep looking at high ground no matter what. They're always going to try to glance up and see what they can do. They're still pretty solid mats. They all have, yeah, 400 and 300 and then 0 on ACORN pretty much. So they have a good mat still for this zone because of that refresh they got in the half-half. So they end up getting a kill on Crumble there, which I didn't really see, but it looks like that player just kind of ran into their box. So they had a kill on Crumble, and they're just working their way through the tarps here, pressuring behind a team, using another team's tarp to get them into the zone. And as soon as they find that chance to break free, they take it. They don't chase that guy down. They take the chance to break free there, and they make their own lair here. So now that they got their free lair temporarily by just pressuring through this tarp, they have their lair, they use their mats, and they take advantage of it. They get a kill on Nexi here. They jump down, get his siphon mats. So they have to pressure again, and they know this team's in wood. They know they're also shambles, so they go for the play here. This is a game-winning play. Now they're extremely stacked. They've got 3 players with siphon mats in their hands, and they're able to just tarp themselves through completely. Getting another kill on Shimp, who has nothing in the back of the tarp because they have such good mats. Looks like JAHQ ended up going down, but at the end of the day, they pressured teams when they needed to. So servers went down. Alright, so yeah, that's it from the VOD review from me of JAHQ, ACORN, and Slacks' trio up in CS. They obviously did very well, and they have a lot figured out as a trio. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and like I said in the start of the video, I'm sorry about the microphone quality being low. I'm still having PC issues, so I'm going to try to get that fixed as soon as possible, but I really wanted to get this video out for you guys because not only did I want to just touch on how amazing the trio of JAHQ, ACORN, and Slacks is, but also I just wanted to show you guys, in my mind, what makes them such a good trio and why they did so well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.